Oh, I don't see the banner, but it looks like we are live, ladies and gents. And what is up, Broncos Country? Welcome to Tailgate Talk, your pregame spot for all things Denver Bronco football. Make sure leave your comments, concerns, dirty jokes, and so on. And my name is Adam, your favorite substitute teacher, and I'll be guiding you through this journey, let's say 1 hour before the game, as we break down the Dallas Cowboys, the incoming Dallas Cowboys. So before we start talking about the game, let's talk some announcements. Let's get those out of the way. As always, the post-game show is every Monday, 8 p.m., wherever you are. And you know what else is good about it? I'm on the show too. So every Monday, wherever you get your podcast, go to bourbonbroncos.com, or I'm sorry, broncosandbourbon.com, and give us a listen. It's fun, it's educational, it's for the kids. Uh, we'll edit that out. Anyway, on game days, we are live like we are right now, 1 hour before game time, and stay tuned for halftime hash. It's either going to be a celebration or it's going to be group therapy. Either way, it's going to be fun. And always, and our flagship show every Tuesday, Broncos Bourbon and No B.S. every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Go check out all the boys, Kev Dan, Spotty, Batman sometimes comes in. It's always a ton of fun. So make sure to check that out on Tuesdays. We have an announcement about game coverage for the Houston Texans game on November 2nd. Make sure to tune in at 1 o'clock. We'll be having live game coverage. For the people that were there for the Jets game, same similar vibe. We're going to live stream that. It's going to be a ton of fun. And we may have more people. So that way you don't have to see me and Kev for the entire time. I know that's going to be easy on the eyes, but uh, so either way, it's going to be fun. And last thing, remember to check us out and sign in on the website. And you can find so many great things there, especially great written content. I don't know who's putting it out there, but I'm going to say he is a literary genius. And I think he's misunderstood in his own time, as all the great artists are. Remember to check that out, broncosandbourbon.com. All jokes aside, all the great fun stuff there. And make sure to get signed up and get that profile created, because when we introduced tiers next season, you want to be ahead of that. Also, at the half-hour mark, we're going to have our score prediction challenge before we get to the fabulous prizes that we have. We have to go over the rules. And I mean, our lawyers are on stipend. They have told us we need to get these out there. So one prediction per person. You want to spam the comments, totally fine. The first one's going to count. You have to pick the Broncos to win. There are no haters here. No hating allowed. And for record keeping purposes, maybe screenshot it. Just get a digital copy so that way we know how to get in touch with you. So let's get to the show. Will, what's up? Anthony, what's up? Sean, Andrew. Oh, I'm so glad my dudes are here so we can talk some Bronco football. I am always about know thy enemies. So let's talk the Dallas Cowboys. As you see there, I don't know why we're still calling them America's team, because nobody asked me. So, and I didn't vote. And I know if I would have voted, would not have voted for them. So either way, it's I think the big subplot of this game, it's going to be strength versus strength. Number one defense that the Broncos have versus the number one offense of the Cowboys. Cowboys are also really good at airing out the ball. So again, does this Weech guy is going to come out? Is it going to be Dak Prescott, or is it going to be the Denver Bronco pass rush? I love these kind of matchups because I love seeing best versus best. I mean, how else do you settle arguments? How else do you settle conversations if not, get them out there and let's see who wins. So you got the Denver pass rush versus Dak Prescott, who is playing really well, surprisingly. Uh, so you know, I'm appreciative of it because he is on my fantasy team and I got him off the scrap heap. So whoever dropped him, joke's on you. But again, Dallas, somewhat surprisingly, is playing very, very well, especially on offense. I did see an interesting stat the other day that they are actually the number one rushing offense in in base personnel and in one or in 11 personnel. So one back, one tight end. I Vance Joseph talked about it in his presser during the week, and he made mention that this is going to be a chess match. It's not easy for them. It's when you're in a light defensive package like that, you're not necessarily looking for the run. So the fact that they're able to run out of that formation means that they're going to be able to disguise that really easily versus run versus pass. So it's going to be interesting to see what Denver can do from a defensive standpoint to maybe mitigate that. I also think turnovers are going to play a massive, massive role in today's game. Denver finally got off the schneid a little bit and got a really big pick last week versus the Giants. I think you're going to need that again. So again, I think when you have a traditional defense versus offense matchup like we have today, defense usually comes out on top, but I still think that Denver needs to get in there, get a fumble going. They need to get a fumble. They need to get a turnover. They need to stem the momentum so that they can continue to make this a very, very hard place for Dallas to win. Last time I checked, I think they're only 2-8 in their last 10 games here in Denver. I want to say that their last win was 1993, maybe. To put that in perspective, I in 1993 that would have put me at I was 10. And while I still look like I am 10, I am not. Uh, so I think it's going to be. I think what you're going to see is, another matchup that what you're going to see is Pat Surtain versus CeeDee Lamb, and I think even a bigger matchup is Riley Moss versus George Pickens, and I think that's actually going to be the bigger matchup that we see. You put whoever you put PS2 is going to have a bad day. I think that's pretty much what most teams are going by. I know I benched Dak Prescott in my fantasy league today because I was pretty much counting on that. It may have come back to bite me in the butt, seeing as Caleb Williams is doing exactly bupkis for me right now. But that's a me problem. That's not a Broncos problem. But when it comes to when it comes to Dak Prescott and it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, their matchups all over the board. It's going to be paramount for the Denver Bronco defense to come out on the plus side of those one-on-one matchups. Riley Moss, in particular, being one of those. 𝐂𝐨𝐰𝐵 this week talked about how much he's impressed by Riley Moss. Really feels like he's a number one cornerback that the Broncos have back there. And he basically said what everybody has made mention of so far. The guy opposite PS2 is going to see a ton of traffic. So you have to have a capable number one guy back there, and they do. But it's one of those things where it's the most noticeable, so it's going to be pointed out even more. Let's go and let's say hi to some people. We got Andrew. Time of possession will be a key factor. I could not agree more with that. With offenses, the best way to defend offenses, keep them on the sideline and get the air out of the ball. Now, good news, bad news on that is Denver, when they run the ball, has shown that they can be pretty effective doing it with R.J. Harvey and with J.K. Dobbins. The kind of negative on that is not always emphasized. And Drew Brees, I don't know where I was going with that. But Bo Nix last week threw the ball 50 times. And yes, we were in a hole. Yes, we needed to come back. Yes, we had some scores to make up. But if Bo Nix is throwing the ball 50 times when you have those two in the backfield, I'm sorry, like that is not making good use of our personnel. I really, I'll be speaking to that as soon as we get into the Broncos side of this. But man, I would really love to see the time of possession being dominated by the Broncos as well. Mike posted a comment earlier this week that I don't think that was approved, but Riley Moss has the best completion rate of cornerbacks in the NFL. You know what? I wouldn't disagree with that because it gets noticed when he gives up a play. It doesn't get as much notice when he makes the play most of the time. So we all see it here in Denver. We know what's going on. I think this is more of a national perception more than anything. So it's unfortunate, and it's from people that just, it's almost becomes a reaction based thing where, oh, Riley Moss is bad. Yeah, he is. Remember that play when in all actuality, it's like the one time that you notice it. So, it is what it is. Guys, remember, hit like, share, follow, get all the good stuff here. You don't go to those other places. You want to get all the good stuff right here. With that being said, one of the big subplots for today is the return of Javonte Williams. Now, I will say this. I don't think Javonte Williams was a good fit for the Sean Payton offense. We can go, we can debate why or why not, but we saw from the 2 seasons under Sean Payton, it just never seemed like it clicked with Javonte here, and it's unfortunate because of how much I like Javonte Williams as a running back and as a player. The game against Baltimore where he carried Marlon Humphrey for like 20 yards afterward will forever be seared in my memory banks. And I just, when I'm having a bad day, I go check it out because it makes me happy. That being said, he has found new life in Dallas, and again, probably for that observation that I made earlier, that he's able to run against a lot of light boxes. It's going to be paramount that the Denver defense keeps him contained today. If you can make any offense one-dimensional, it plays into your hands as a defense. That being said, he sounds very motivated, and I would not be remiss today if he had a pretty big game. So I'm hoping that Denver goes out and just like let's not mess around with the early game drama that we have been, and let's just get down to business, and let's just smoke these dudes, and let's just have an easy game. For as good as the Cowboys are, and I do not want to be dismissive of them out of pocket, but for as much as everybody has talked about their dynamic offense, they're only 3-3. And I think this is where the last thing that I want to speak to when it comes to the Cowboys comes into play. And I don't think that this is going to be. I don't think the battle is going to be, or the game is going to be won with the offense versus defense subplot. I think it's going to be more of which secondary unit is going to be better. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys defensive rankings, it leaves a little bit to be desired if we're being honest. They're towards the bottom in most defensive categories, including yards and points allowed. It was not helped out this week by Trevon Diggs going on IR. Trevon Diggs, I don't know that he's a great lockdown corner, maybe like PS2, but he is very opportunistic, and he is very good at getting picks. And I think if you have an offense that's already struggling a little bit, I don't know that having a guy like Diggs out there is necessarily a bad thing either. So the fact that Trevon Diggs isn't getting that, won't be out there, only a good thing for Denver. Now, the Dallas Cowboys defense is an opportunistic defense, so they may not be getting a whole lot of stops, but when they get turnovers, they make those hurt. So, as we've been talking about playing a clean football game, this is one of those things where Denver needs to protect the football again, like they did last week. No turnovers, no picks, no fumbles, and keep a clean game. If you keep a clean game, I think Denver has enough on offense to at least to be passable versus a bad Dallas defense. Let's see what we got today. Allison, did you see that Cam went down with an injury today? I did not. I did not. Sean, I can't take another fourth quarter comeback. I got little and nails left after 2 weeks. You and me both, brother. I think if they would have hooked me up to a machine for that last 15 or so 20 minutes of that game, I may have been clinically dead a couple times. It's hard. It's hard on the heart. Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. I did see that. Ch**𝐨𝐰𝐴 did dislocate his ankle. Never want to see that. For as much as you feel, or whatever you feel about players, one way or the other, don't like to see any injuries happen. And definitely wish 𝐭𝐴 all the best. Hopefully, it's nothing. It's something that he can come back from. As far as the Broncos go, I have heard a lot about this is the game that's going to bust us out. This is going to be the game that the offense busts out. This is the game that we turn back. We erase all those doubts about where we are as an offense, and we move forward. Um, I like that optimism. I'm not gonna lie. I like that kind of optimism. I'm that optimistic all the time. Especially with the collection of guys that you have back there on offense right now. Bo Nix, obviously we saw how well he's played, especially in crunch time the last 2 weeks. You have top flight wide receivers on both sides in Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims. You have two really good backs. You have a veteran offensive line. You paid a lot of money for Evan Ingram. Why isn't the offense better? And I think that's very, very fair. And I think it's come down to play calling. If we're all being honest, it has come down to it has come down to play calling. Uh, Almost everybody that I talked to this week after that game was obviously buzzing from such a big win. But the other part of that was, what are we going to do about this play calling? 11 swing passes, 11 bubble screens or smoke routes. Um, that I don't know. I mean, I can only say what may have been the motivation for that, unless you're just trying to maybe get a guy going here or there. But for the most part, it's just it looks like you're spamming something that's not working. And if you're spamming something that's not working, why are you calling it? And I know if my man with Sean was on with us, he would give us a detailed explanation. I don't see him coming through yet. But one thing that we do need to point out, and when I did see the news about this today. Non-Denver note, but Nick Mangold passed away. I know that this is the Denver Broncos channel, and I know that we talked about this. I mean, it doesn't really have anything per view of the Broncos, but yes, this was very, very sudden. I saw somewhere that he went online to say that he was in very poor health, that he had some kind of I want to say I don't want to say I don't want to speak to one thing and say this one thing when it was another. But either way, Nick Mangold is 1 year younger than me. So it is that I can only imagine. We all joke around and it's all fun and games around here, but yeah, it is sad and very prayers for his family. Obviously, people lost a brother and a friend and a son, so I'm all condolences and respect to his family. Either way though, that's kind of it's hard, and especially having to do that on a day like today where it's supposed to be a fun day. But Sean, when you look at some of the penalties, delay game, false starts, offensive, ineligible, yeah, these are just basic things. And it has been one of those things that has really put a wet blanket on the Denver offense. Is that it does seem whenever they're able to get a little bit of traction, then something like a penalty, then it's a holding call, then it's a false start, illegal shift. And those penalties put strain on an offense, even if they're playing well. So when you have an offense that is on the opposite of that, oh man, it's unfortunate. But like I was saying with the Denver offense specifically, we're 5-2. After today, the season's half over almost. So can we realistically expect this Denver offense to get better from here when this is kind of traditionally when teams kind of settle into that identity of whatever they take on offense? So is the Denver offense just kind of gonna is this gonna be what it's gonna be all year? I look at it from 2 points of view. One, I still think there's room to get better. If you look at the collection of defenses that Denver's played against, just in these past few weeks, the different situations that they played in against, I don't know that you've seen them play uh, necessarily what you would call a get right against defense. The one time that they did against the Bengals, guess what? They looked pretty damn good. So, does that mean going up against another bad defense automatically makes that a foregone conclusion today? You hope so, and I think that the Broncos do have room to maybe get in there and maybe put up some points today. The other part of that is of what I was alluding to is that this is an offense that has not really found its footing in almost any game. Um, Anytime they've had a run game, it seems like they go away from it. The passing game seems like it's very hit or miss, where it's either focused too much on short and quick, or it's focused too much on taking shots downfield. It just doesn't ever seem like there's a cohesive offensive flow at this point. And I like saying that flow. It's very soothing flow. Anyway, Chris, my start of the game would be Nate Atkins for offense, and Riley Moss will rise up for an you know what, Chris? If Riley Moss came up with a pick six today, oh, I would that would be just mwah, there'd be chef's kiss because I mean we all see what he does every week around here, and he is I mean the dude is a baller, but even ballers get picked on a lot, and I know Spotty on the show has pointed this out that when Revis Island was at the height of his powers, he had Antonio Cromartie on the other side. Is Antonio Cromartie a bad cornerback? Absolutely not. But Antonio Cromartie got picked on quite a bit because he's playing opposite uh, Revis Island. So I mean, when you have that dominant a player, you're just going to see traffic on the other side of it. So again, it's a national thing. It's a heat magnet thing. It gets a lot of people talking, but it gets us to react. And I hate like when we react to people trolling. Oh, it just gets me so angry. Let's see what we got here. Sean, I was at the Jets game in London. Need a big improvement on offense. I think Bo just needs to relax a bit more before making his mind up. Um, I think that there is some element of truth to that. And let me explain. When the Denver offense has needed a drive, so I mean, let's go back to last week where they essentially needed to go 3 for 3 on offense. And you see what they did. You saw quick passer, you saw a quicker passing game from Bo Nix. Obviously, you need to do that because you're a little pressed for time. You also saw more designed runs for Bo Nix. Now, I'm of two minds of that as well. I know I'm probably going to say that a lot. Adam, why do you have two minds about everything? It's because I probably have a something. It's undiagnosed, but people are pretty sure. Anyway, beside the point. Anyway, I always have to see both sides of something, and from looking at that, I don't. When you have mobile quarterbacks, you're really making it a 1v1 offense versus defense. All 11 has to account for all 11 on the other side. So I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, and it simplifies things for Bo. Do they need to simplify things for Bo? Maybe. I don't want to say that he's regressing, but I also know that Sean has a very complicated offense, and he is throwing a lot at him. Is that fair of any second year player to have to maybe take that and maybe take that game another? I don't know. I don't know if that's completely the reason behind it, but at the same time, I don't know that simplifying things for Bo is necessarily the worst thing in the world either. Jose, I see your comment, buddy. I'm gonna get to you here in a second. But at the same time, yes, there is an inherent danger of having a running quarterback back there, i.e., getting him hurt. So it really does need to be almost like an Uno card. If I'm maybe, and you got to really pick your spots of where you want to use them. Roy, what's up, man? What's up? I'm here. Um, actually, and as we kind of segue into the next kind of subject here, James, hearing Njoku may be a name that the Broncos could trade for. Now, I also was sent something this week by a buddy that says that the Broncos may be in the tight end market. Let me explain all that. I don't like I do not like qualifying language, especially when it comes from like sources or anything like that. So I'm gonna say this right away that I think that the way that this article was phrased was very, very vague. And I don't like that it's being picked saying that Denver could do anything. However, Diana Rossini is reporting that the Broncos may be in the market for a tight end via trade. Why, I'm not entirely sure because again, we have Evan Ingram on the payroll now. So I don't know. However, I've heard names like Njoku being thrown out there. TJ Hawkinson has been thrown out there. Uh you know, I don't know. I when I look at the offense as constructed right now, you have pretty much your passing tight end, which is Evan Ingram, who has been showing that he's kind of acclimating himself to the offense a bit more. But as far as blocking tight end, I mean, that's not going to be Njoku, and that's not going to be Hawkinson. That's not going to be any of those guys. So it's not like they're looking into like a blocking tight end. They're looking into a pass catching tight end, which to me, I don't know how much sense that makes. Um, I don't know how much sense it makes to go after another tight end at this point. I think Nate Atkins has actually been one of the unsung stars of the offense. I know that sounds crazy, but he plays a ton of snaps, does a ton of things, and he's been serviceable at least as a pass catcher. So I don't know that you can necessarily dismiss that out of hand, and I don't know what you would have to give up necessarily in collateral to get better from him. Andrew, Taysom Hill, maybe I know that people will draw a lot of parallels because Taysom Hill, Sean Payton, the Saints. Oh, I don't know. Uh, me personally, I've never been a huge Taysom Hill fan. I know he's incredibly athletic, and that allows him to do a whole lot. But I don't know that he's necessarily good at any one thing. So that's just me. That from my point of view, that's just me. Now, Chris, there is one name that I've heard thrown out here a bit, and I think that we need to talk about it. What do you think about Logan Wilson coming to Denver? No, here is a name that I think isn't something that you can dismiss out of hand. So, obviously the Bengals aren't going anywhere this year. Obviously, the Bengals aren't very good on defense, and they're just kind of they're in full on evaluation mode. Even though they are kicking the you know what out of uh what team? They're beating somebody really bad. Oh, the Browns. They're beating them really bad. Or no, I don't know. Whatever. Either way, they're winning. And what we saw, actually, him or Washington from the Steelers. Okay, I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Logan Wilson. I do like Logan Wilson. I think that right now, what you're seeing from the Denver defense, that their biggest weakness is inside linebacker, and I think having a guy like Logan Wilson, who is kind of reminds me a little bit of a guy we had last year in Cody Barton, I don't think is a terrible thing. Because if we're being serious, I think that's probably the one place where Denver could be exploited, and it's the one place that if you, I don't know. I really think. I mean, you saw Alex Singleton play a little bit better last week. You have Juice Andrews who's going to be coming back. You also got Dre Greenlaw who's on suspension. Now Dre Greenlaw is still. I don't know if they're going to put him on a pitch count for the rest of the season. He didn't come out with an injury designation, so all of that is good. You also have Justin Sternad, so you have three capable backers. But again, once you factor in Greenlaw's injury situation, you factor in Singleton's up and down play, and I don't think a guy like Logan Wilson needs to be discounted out of pocket. Allison, no, I believe in Bo Nix. I totally believe in Bo Nix. I just don't want to get the guy hurt. That's how much I believe in Bo Nix. For as dynamic as he is as a runner, and I do think that he needs to maybe find that balance between the off-platform crazy throws and just scrambling. Keep your offense on schedule. But that's a nitpick, and either way, I don't know that I could say that after saw him ball the way that he did in the fourth quarter last week. I don't know that anybody could say that. Chris, here, interesting name thrown out there. Noah Fant. You know what? I think Noah Fant was one of those guys that actually got a bad rap. You can come at me. Please leave my family alone. Come after me. uh, but Noah Fant, caught 40 balls and for 500 yards when he was here. We would be tickled with those kinds of numbers. So anything lately. So again, I'm not going to rule it out. I think he's with Cincinnati now. So I mean, that could also be a possibility. Uh, thanks, Michael. Thanks for getting me in there, man. But only 6 points over the Jets. That's what it was. Okay. I have a hard time kind of picking up scores of anything else outside of Broncoville on Sundays. So if in any case, if you ever see me like kind of fumbling around, I know probably my Broncos inside and out, front ways, back ways, sideways. Uh, but any other team, I get a. I mean, if you let me get 20 minutes, I can get a good thing in. But sometimes, anyway, getting everything back on track. Stand by for the score prediction challenge again. I feel like we need to go over the rules again. And I also feel like for my own practice, I need to go over the rules again. So it is one prediction per person. Yes. We will only take the first one too. If you want to spam the comments because of how much you like me, or because you just want to tell me how great I am, or you want to tell me a funny joke, or whatever the case may be, totally fine. We're only going to take the first one, only the first one. Two. It needs to be a Broncos win. I am sorry. I am sorry. There will be absolutely no ice blue haterade here. It is only for Broncos wins. And then just make sure to document it, take a screenshot, do something so that way if you win, we can find you. And it will be, and I believe I may have gotten this wrong last time. It'll be a jersey of your choice. Don't quote me on that though. Ken, what's up, man? You had a really bad dream last night. Broncos got beat bad, more of a nightmare. Let's get that off the screen. No, none of that. There'll be no kind of discourse from that. All positivo thoughts today. um, so yeah, let's moving on to some of the things that we're seeing as far as scores. Let's see how we are feeling here as far as, I mean, we know how Ken felt. I don't know that I necessarily want to think that. So Jose, we got Broncos 37, Dallas 28. I kind of get the same kind of vibe. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, obviously, because you have a high scoring offense like the Cowboys. Um, I think there's going to be some fireworks in this game. I think you're going to see maybe the Denver defense maybe have to bend a little bit, but I don't see them breaking, especially to these boys. Uh, Sean, Broncos to win 21-17. Hey, I'm always going to say that Broncos are going to come out. That's why I never do good in pick'em. Every year they're like, Adam, or somebody when I'm at work or anything like, Adam, do you want to do pick'em? I'm like, well, no, because I'm going to suck at it. And then I just leave it at that. And then I don't have any friends except you guys. Thanks for being my friends. I really appreciate it. Well, we got final score Broncos 21, Dallas 17 again. Another low scoring game. I don't know how low scoring this is going to be. I really see these guys maybe putting some points up on the board today. I don't know that we're going to have a Philadelphia Eagle like game of kind of a rock fight. At least I hope not, because man, those are hard to get through sometimes. Chris, Denver 41, Cowboys 34. I think it's going to be somewhere along those lines too, Chris. I mean, I really hope we see some. I think I really want to see the Denver offense just put some points on the board, and let's go, and let's show, on a national stage against a team like this. Let's show that we can put some points on the board with the pieces that we have. Andrew, I think Adam just said worn autograph jersey of. Well, if that, I better stretch or something and figure out how I'm gonna break into Mile High to get that. Because yeah, uh, nothing illegal around here. Nothing illegal. Andrew, 28-25 Broncos win. Perfect. Ken, 31-30 Broncos. Another squeaker. Oh my goodness. I don't want another squeak. My heart, I don't know, can do another another game like last week. I mean, it's always nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I'd rather have exciting games other than bad games. But good lord, last week was hard to sit through for 3 quarters, and then you couldn't sit down for the last fourth or for the fourth. Let's see what we got. 34-13 Broncos. Exactly. Man, we're thinking that we're gonna beat the brakes off them boys. All right. I think the best jersey would be 00 with the name Miles. Funny story about jerseys. Like I have a ton of jerseys, and for the longest time I would get personalized jerseys because team's never gonna cut or trade me. But for some people, that's like a weird like For as much as people liked my last name on my jersey and my own number, I also got like some people are like, "Well, you're not part of the team, so why do you have that jersey?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know," because it's always I don't know. My jersey has always been very important to me. How I pick out my jersey is always very important to me. Obviously, if you saw me last week, how much I agonized over the jersey that I was gonna wear for that week, and then for 3 quarters, I thought I picked the wrong choice. Uh, yeah, it's just I don't know. So, Allison, what we got? 35-28. Broncos wins all touchdowns, no field goals. I like it. And then the Broncos coming out ahead. Denver wins today. Does Denver win today? I guess we can kind of maybe start segueing to that. What does Denver need to do to win today? Besides going over the old staples of run the ball, no penalties, da 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 da. Obviously, those are things that we've covered ad nauseum now. So, what is going to be the matchup that I think is going to define this game? And I think it's going to be Riley Moss versus George Pickens. Um, George Pickens has really been a great complementary piece to CeeDee Lamb. He's gotten guys or defenses to play Lamb one on one. And you've obviously seen how that has benefited the Dallas offense. The Dallas offense is top scoring offense in the league right now because of that. However, they haven't played Denver yet, and Denver is able to deploy PS2 to be able to take that away from an offense. So that really does leave who's going to be the complementary piece to that, and i.e. now this is Pickens versus Moss. Uh, where George Pickens is really good is the physical stuff. He's very good at route running. He's good at pushing off, frankly, and he's got a feisty little attitude that is if he's feeling himself, it's hard to get him off of that. So you almost want to get him a little angry and you almost want to get him a little frustrated. I think Riley is a little bit of that kind of player. I think he is obviously we see how he plays every week. He's a feisty player. He's just as physical, if not more than George Pickens. So I think today is really going to be a focus on those two. And the battle up front. One of the things that I did in kind of reading up over the Cowboys this week was that this team likes to get the ball out fast. So that is already one thing that I know that they're going to try to do to kind of neutralize our Denver pass rush. How do you combat that when you don't give your pass rushers enough basically those 3 seconds to bring somebody down? Do you blitz? Do you play straight up? For me, I almost want to say there was a game that the Broncos played against New England. I want to say this was during the Peyton Manning era. It was a Sunday night game, but Denver ran for like 200 yards on the ground. Especially, and that was this was still when Peyton Manning was in his prime, throwing the ball all around. I think that might have been the 55 touchdown season. If not, it was the year after. But they ran the ball for the tune of 200 yards and did not put the ball up a whole lot. And then when the game dictated that the Broncos do have to throw the ball, they couldn't. And I almost want to say that this needs to be a game where Denver may have to have that same kind of philosophy on the defensive side of the ball. They need to maybe say like, "Hey, we're going to give you everything between the 20s, but we're not going to let you score touchdowns. We're going to hold you. We're going to make you score field goals." That's how you stop a good offense. Turnovers, getting, especially historically for whatever reason, and I do think there has to be something to this. The Cowboys don't play very well here. I have seen numerous beatdowns of the Cowboys when they've come to play here. So I am not 100% sure that it is a foregone conclusion that this is going to be a shootout either. In tradition, where a place where Dallas has not played very well. What is up, Jeremy? Glad to see you, man. Kick up your feet, make a comment, and let's wrap. And getting back to the matchup, what we're seeing with Dallas and kind of getting to those other secondary matchups. If Denver wins those, I think Denver has a great shot of winning this game. So if they're able to, bend but don't break, limit the damage that their offense can do, and then take advantage of what a bad defense is going to let you do. I mean, this defense isn't going to go out there and just stop you cold. They're going to bend but not break, and they're going to give up some points. I know Broncos country going to make it really hard for the Cowboys to hear anything in Mile High. Broncos fans are insane. 31-17 Broncos. Gary, I know that you think that I'm short. I'm not, but but we are totally simpatico on that. I think this is going to be. I mean, obviously they get paid too, but I think Denver's just the all around better team. I think Denver is the more battle tested team. And for as good as the Dallas Cowboys offense is, and don't get me wrong, they're still 3-3. This is still just a kind of a average team. And Denver has actually got a, for as much as they've struggled, and you know what, we can even say that they're a very flawed 5-2 football team. But being a flawed 5-2 football team, they have still found ways to win games when maybe they shouldn't have. So again, having a team like Dallas who is all right, they're okay, but does have a very good offense. I think this is just another thing. This is a very good test for Denver, and if the adage holds up that good defenses beat good offenses, then I'm not entirely sure what Dallas is going to do today that is going to really threaten Denver anywhere. However, on offense, when Denver is on offense, this is where things can get a little dicey for me. Not that Denver's turned the ball over a lot on offense. However, the Dallas defense is a very, very opportunistic defense, and if we're going to be shooting and we've seen this when we shoot ourselves in the foot, we have bad things have come of it. And in the two losses were predicated on just if one or two things had gone a little bit differently, those are wins. When it comes to Dallas, though, coming into town, hopefully it doesn't come down to that, where it isn't like a one or two thing here. If it would have been that, I hope it doesn't get to that point. I don't think it will be. Jeremy, I'm worried about the Broncos keeping the streak. Now, you know what? I've heard a couple of things today where maybe we're a little worried about that. So let's talk about that. What has you worried about the Cowboys coming into town? Is it Dak Prescott? Is it somebody else? Go ahead and put it in the comments, and let's maybe flesh that out a little bit. Let's see. Ken, a lot of Broncos struggles come from penalties and trying to call the perfect play every play. If they just put their best players on the field, stay simple and play smart, they'll score 31. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And we have talked about that. I know Ken has become a very vocal Sean Payton critic, and I don't think he's wrong. I think a lot of the talk last week, where does Sean need to give up the play card, I think is totally valid because of not seeing the offense being put in enough situations to succeed. If the team is better running the ball, why don't they run the ball more? If this team went out and got J.K. Dobbins and drafted R.J. Harvey to have a more physical run dominated offense, why is Bo Nix throwing the ball 50 times a game? It doesn't. Those are the things that make you wonder about Sean a little bit, and especially the all the bubble screens last week. It I don't want to sit here and say that Sean Payton. I know more about offensive football than Sean Payton. I like to think I do, but at the same time, I also have seen. We all see the game with our eyes. We all see the game with our eyes, and when you see that, it's infuriating because as constructed right now, we can be better. We can be better. Um, Gary, that's sweet, bud. I appreciate that. I got you. Uh, it, Getting back to the Cowboys and what they can bring as far as people being worried about it, and I think people may have some. It's been a little bit since the Cincinnati game, since Denver's come out and really put their foot on an opponent's throat. So I think that's entirely fair to maybe be a little worried about them. But then again, you kind of get into really breaking it down. Denver's also coming in at full health, which I don't think full health for any football team cannot be understated. Jonah Ellis, who is one of the rotational outside linebackers that has really made an impact, has missed the 2 games, and I think you've seen Uh, Not necessarily the pass rush from Benito and Allen and Cooper, not those guys, but when they've had to go to Q Robinson, who's taken the place of Jonah Ellis, you haven't seen as much disruption. And before he got hurt, Jonah Ellis was making a play a game at least, whether it be a sack or TFL in the backfield or blowing up a play. He has just been he has been great. He's been great. Getting him back is nothing but a plus. But again, from a health point of view, Denver's coming in with a pretty clean bill of health. Whereas if you saw the Cowboys injury report this week, it looked a little bit like a mash unit. They had a lot of guys who were a little banged up, and they're going to be missing some guys today. And they're going to have guys who are dinged up on their both offensive and defensive lines. So if this is a get right game, and I hate using that for especially for a game like this against a good team like Dallas, it has to be today. They got to start showing something today. James, I'm right along with you, man. Peyton should share play calling with Webb. Now, here's what's interesting about that, because I think if anybody goes to a play caller, if anybody should be the play caller, it should be the offensive coordinator. And I think it's odd that we have an offensive coordinator that doesn't call plays, and anybody who thinks somebody other than Sean should be calling the plays doesn't mention our offensive coordinator. Quick, what is the name of our offensive coordinator? I mean, I know, but who is the name of our offensive coordinator? And I think some people may legitimately not know who our offensive coordinator is. The fact that everybody's saying Davis Webb should be calling, and that is not a slide against Davis Webb, who I think is a rising star, and it showed that. But I think it's crazy that like Lombardi is not even getting any kind of mention at calling the plays at all. Um, Again, guys, we got about 13 minutes before the start of the game. Make sure you mash that like, follow, share the joy. That is Adam. That's sweet. That's really sweet. I've never heard that before, but that's very sweet. Can sometimes the call out run regardless of the defense, just make it play, even off script. Hey, I agree. How many players are the Cowboys going to be without today? I know they're going to be without Trevon Diggs, and I want to say they had a few others with out designations, but they had a few. I think I want to say they had about 3 or 4 guys with questionable designations, and like I said, they just placed Trevon Diggs on IR, a short-term IR, so he will be done for at least 4 weeks and very much this game. Let's get to some of the comments. Brant, 34-31 Broncos. Let's go. Yeah, I think it's going to be that kind of a game. I think it's going to be a 34-31 kind of game. I think it's going to be I think Denver's going to get out to a good start, and then I think we're going to see a lull. Then I think there'll be a moment where the Denver is going to have to weather the storm a little bit, and I think they're going to pull away. How that will look specifically as far as the score, I'll let you know towards the end of the show. Jerry, what's up? And go Broncos. Yeah. And I don't think if this game were being played in Dallas, I would probably have. Oh, Brent, predicted the score against the Eagles for the jersey giveaway. No one gotten back to me. Hey, dude, shoot us a screenshot and DM us, and then we'll see what's going on. Okay. Jerry, are you doing score predictions? We are doing score predictions. You are in luck. You are in luck. Go ahead and get your score prediction in there, my man. Remember, we're only taking the first prediction, so you got to make sure you get it right on the first try, and you got to make sure that the Broncos are the winners, because no haters here. This is not the Play a Hater Lounge. Obviously, it's Throwback Day, which we all love. I got my Casa Bonito hoodie in the mail today, so that made me a happy little boy. And I love Throwback Day again. I remember going back to Throwback Day last year where they played Oakland. I always call them Oakland, where we played Vegas on Sunday. It was the day after my birthday, and to see how that orange looks on the field, especially when contrasted against like the grass and the sky. Oh my goodness, like it is beautiful. I don't care how that makes me sound. That looks beautiful. It is a beautiful sight seeing the royal blue and the bright orange out on that field. Jerry, 31-27 Broncos for the win. I like the confidence. I love the confidence. So as we kind of get towards the end of the show, yeah, let's get some final thoughts. You know, Cowboys fans are a weird lot, and I think it's just kind of like it would have been one of those days today where I did not know how to really feel about a game like today because yeah, it is the Cowboys, but traditionally we've done very well against the Cowboys, and it's also like days like today going to the stadium. It's not even like going against where the Chiefs are playing or the Chargers are playing, and it's a division rival, so you see the opposition fans there. These are Cowboys fans. The Cowboys fans are a special group because I mean, for as much as we talked about delusional last week, I don't know that it necessarily applied to Giants fans as it does to Cowboys fans. And I feel like I need to explain a little bit. And it is like you love the enthusiasm. I love enthusiasm. I love seeing people's I love seeing people's enthusiasm. But man, when it's the Cowboys and it's every year like this, oh my goodness, it's just it gets to be over the top, and I haven't seen as much chirping as there was last week between the teams, but I do want to say that for as that it just is like I got into it, not got into it, but me and a fellow Cowboys fan got into some verbal jousting online, and he basically said he felt like we were going to lose today. I felt like saying, if it were 1995, yeah, I'd be scared of the Cowboys, but guess what? It's 2025. If Bush Senior were still the president, yeah, maybe I'd be a little bit worried. Not super worried about about what they are now. Again, they should be taken seriously. They get paid the same as the Broncos do. But I just think that Denver has a little bit too much for the Cowboys today. Since we got about we got about 3 minutes left. We all know a Cowboys fan, Jerry. We all know a Cowboys fan. Uh, they're always they're always very enthusiastic. They're always very passionate. They're not always grounded in reality. Let's just put it that way. But we love them anyway, and so I get to my final thoughts. I think honestly, this team is hating on my manager, Brent. I live in Texas. People hating on my Manny jersey. Hey, guess what? They're not hating. They're just they're a little confused, man. They haven't seen a Super Bowl winning quarterback in a little bit, and it confuses them. They got this thing in their brain. It screws some wiring up. I get it. I get it. I don't get it, but you know what I mean. And Jose, I don't even doubt it, man. I feel like I am I feel like we're in I feel like that the Broncos are just a better team. For as much as we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys offense, and they are fun to watch, Denver has more substance to them. I think that we've seen while we're upset with the offense has done enough to win. Probably, deservedly, maybe every week. Ugh. Even if they are 5-2, and we've seen the defense be able to other games out of the take other offense out of the equation pretty quickly. So for me, I'm gonna go 31-27 Broncos. I think the Cowboys make it interesting late, but I think Denver has enough in the bag to beat them. Remember, every Monday we have the post game show at 8 o'clock. It's great because I'm on it, and you need to check me out. Also, everybody is on this thing at halftime. If you're going to do that, jump in and catch us at halftime. David will be on today. He's and he will have all the goodness and be there to be a shoulder to cry on or be there to celebrate with you for at halftime. So make sure to go check that out. As always, I have my own YouTube show as well. Eye on the Ball. Go check that out. I talk about dad life, Lego life, and also Broncos a lot. And we'll see you after the game. Thank you so much for everybody that came in. Make sure to get popped into your chair, get comfortable, get your drink on, and remember to be back here at halftime for the halftime hash. Go Broncos, and we'll see you next time.